Welcome back to the channel, dear friends. If you're new here, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to stay updated on all the heartfelt, emotional, and exclusive stories from your favorite celebrities. You know we love bringing you the moments that touch the soul, and today we have something truly magical. Tonight, we bring you a story so tender, so intimate, it feels like a scene written by fate itself. When the bright lights fade and the world quiets down, it's in those still moments that true emotions find their voice. And that's exactly what happened on a rooftop in Shanghai, where Shen Yue, graceful, thoughtful, and ever full of surprises, orchestrated an unforgettable night for Dylan Wang. This wasn't about cameras or fame. It wasn't for the spotlight or the headlines. It was for him, just him, and the quiet, beautiful bond they've shared since the days of Meteor Garden. A bond that has grown, evolved, and perhaps deepened in ways words can't fully express. What unfolded was a night of music, memories, and emotions that touched everyone who witnessed it, especially the man it was all for. This is the story of a private orchestra, a heartfelt gesture, and a connection that continues to leave fans breathless. This news is filled with love, art, nostalgia, and a connection that has stood the test of time. So grab a cozy blanket, sit back, and let us take you into the heart of a night that fans and insiders are calling a cinematic dream. Because what you're about to hear is not just a performance. It was a statement, a whisper between two souls, a silent yet thunderous confession of appreciation, friendship, and maybe, just maybe, something more. It all began with a whisper, an insider rumor about a private event being arranged in Shanghai. At first, no one knew what it was for. There was no official announcement, no paparazzi leaks. Just a few quiet murmurs and subtle clues. An orchestra ensemble being booked under a pseudonym, florists asked for soft pink and white arrangements, and a rooftop venue known for its panoramic view of the city skyline being prepared late into the night. When Dylan Wang arrived at the venue, escorted discreetly by his manager, he had no idea what to expect. He thought he was heading to a quiet dinner with a few friends. But as the elevator doors opened onto the rooftop, what met his eyes left him speechless. There, under a canopy of glowing fairy lights, stood Shen Yue, radiant in an elegant ivory dress, smiling with that familiar warmth fans around the world had fallen in love with since their Meteor Garden days. But it wasn't just her presence that stole Dylan's breath. It was what she had prepared. Behind her sat a full private orchestra, violinists, cellists, a harpist, even a pianist tucked gently into the corner, waiting for her cue. The sun had just dipped below the skyline, and the stars began their slow dance overhead. And then the music began. The orchestra launched into a gentle arrangement of The Promise of Us, a song closely associated with their Meteor Garden characters. For anyone watching from afar, it would seem like a scene from a movie. But for Dylan, it was deeply personal. He stood frozen for a moment, clearly overwhelmed, his eyes already glistening. Shen Yue walked toward him slowly and said just one sentence. "Tonight, I wanted you to remember how much you matter, not just to the world, but to me." And just like that, the night transformed into something sacred. Shen Yue had carefully planned the entire evening for weeks, working closely with the musicians to compose orchestrated versions of songs that had shaped their friendship and careers. Each melody carried a memory. Their first audition, their toughest shoot in the rain, the first time Dylan made her laugh uncontrollably, the quiet nights filming together, supporting each other through long hours and media pressure. The second piece was a soft, haunting rendition of Chopin's Nocturne in E-flat major, Dylan's favorite classical piece, which he once mentioned in an old interview when asked about what calms him during chaotic times. Shen Yue had remembered every detail. As the music played, Dylan sat beside her, silent but smiling, clearly moved. Their hands brushed. They didn't need words, because the moment spoke volumes. Later in the evening, the orchestra performed a surprise third piece, an original composition titled A Night to Remember. This was the part that truly melted hearts. The composition was built around subtle motifs from songs that had meaning to them both. It wasn't just music, it was their story in symphonic form. The media didn't find out about the event until photos began leaking the next day. Images of Dylan holding back tears, Shen Yue softly singing along with the orchestra, their silhouettes lit by the amber hue of string lights. Within hours, fans around the world were in an emotional uproar. Social media exploded. Shen Yue is a masterpiece of a woman. That kind of gesture? That's rare. Dylan Wang's smile said everything. He was home. This wasn't just a performance, it was a confession of love, or, at the very least, a soul bond that can't be faked. The overwhelming sentiment was one of awe. Fans and fellow celebrities alike praised Shen Yue's thoughtfulness and the poetic intimacy of the evening. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't a PR stunt. It was soft, elegant, and profoundly meaningful. Insiders close to Dylan shared that he was deeply touched and even mentioned afterward that it was one of the most beautiful experiences of his life. A source claimed he told his staff later that night, "I didn't know I needed that until she gave it to me." Many in the industry were not surprised. Those who have worked with Shen Yue know she's always had a quiet, observant nature. She doesn't shout her affection from the rooftops, but she listens. She remembers. She shows up in the most extraordinary ways. What made the night even more moving was that Shen Yue didn't perform for applause. In fact, she never intended for the event to go public. She wanted it to be just between them, a way to honor the years of shared experience, the unspoken comfort, and perhaps a gentle acknowledgement that some bonds don't fade, even when the spotlight dims. The orchestra was dismissed before midnight, and only a few close friends remained on the rooftop. Dylan and Shen Yue stayed behind, talking softly, looking out over the city. Cameras didn't catch their conversation, but a staff member said they looked like they were in their own world. What does this mean for their relationship? Are they just friends? Or is there something more blooming in the quiet spaces between them? Neither has confirmed anything romantic, but do they even need to? Sometimes love doesn't come with declarations or red carpet appearances. Sometimes it arrives as music under the stars, as a private orchestra, as a shared smile, as a moment you never forget. And that's what Shen Yue gave Dylan Wang. A moment he, and we, will never forget. So beautiful.
So raw.
So unforgettable. What do you think about this heart-touching surprise? Do you believe it was just a friendly gesture or something deeper? Let us know in the comments below. And if you were moved by this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more beautiful moments like this one. Because here, we don't just follow the news, we follow the heartbeat of the stars. Until next time, stay lovely,
Stay kind.
and never stop believing in moments that matter.